Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Up and Atom. Today we will be discussing something incredibly important to me, public access television. For many people interested in communications, this is where they get their start. As cable TV arose in the late 60s and early 70s, the concept of public access was created by the FCC. This ruling dictated that local communities could require cable companies to set aside channels for public, educational, and governmental use. Thus, thousands of new TV stations were created, especially within the New England area. One thing that separates these public stations from traditional TV is their equity. As long as you are a resident of that area, you are able to freely participate in that community's media. This includes visiting the studio, learning how to use professional equipment, and even the ability to apply for your own show. Thus, there have been many celebrities who've started their careers through public access, including Kelly Ripa, Chris Gethard, and, unfortunately, Alex Jones. In fact, Mike Myers and Dana Carvey became comedy superstars through their sketch Wayne's World, which directly parodied music-based shows seen on public access. Still, the medium has been home to a wide variety of programming, with the most popular being filmed government meetings, cooking shows, sketch comedy, and interviews. Sadly, recent lobbying from cable companies and the shift to streaming has severely affected public access. Many stations have recently downsized and now have volunteers in the same roles that professionals were once paid to do. Also, many features like hosting a show or borrowing equipment are now placed behind paywalls, even for community members. Luckily, many stations have organized together to prevent further losses, although the damage has been done. Personally, I was introduced to public access during my freshman year of high school, joining Acton TV. This station has been ingrained in my town for many decades and even kickstarted the career of world-renowned magician Shin Lim. Starting as a student volunteer, I soon became one of their primary producers and now work regularly with the board of directors to create youth-centered programming. This isn't my only experience with public access, though. In January 2022, I began a virtual internship with Urban Media Arts, a public access station located in Malden. Once the semester was over, I decided to stay on for an extra month as an in-person contract worker and met the following class of interns. One of those interns is fellow UMass student Taylor Lee, who we will be interviewing right after this. All right, so today on Up and Atom, we have a special guest. This man is a original volleyball competitor of mine, later a co-worker at a public access station, and currently a friend. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, I'm Taylor Lee. I don't really know which one to introduce myself as, but I'm a journalism student here at UMass as well. Huge Celtics fan, huge Patriots fan. Other than that, if you need something, I can tell you.
And the reason I brought Taylor onto the show today is that over the summer, both of us interned at a public access station called Urban Media Arts, which is located in Malden, Mass. And I was maybe involved more on the social media and editing aspect in terms of work there. What were you involved with, Taylor?
I did all sorts of stuff because I kind of took the opportunity to just experiment with a lot of areas of production and just see what really stuck with me, what I really enjoyed. And so I ended up sticking with a lot of. At first, I started with reporting and I helped write the story for the Malden High School walkout. And then after that, I kind of moved into working with, OSA and Maceo and obviously the other coworkers, which those are all just people who we worked with. And then they all were just very supportive of me, and I went eventually into podcast work. At first, I was doing production stuff similar to this, and I just helped them with local TV shows that were being hosted, or like just helping them with the kids that were interning as part of the Mayor's Summer Youth Employment Program. And eventually, I would move into making my own podcast where I interviewed people around Malden who were in the sports scene, and I would just ask them like what Malden sports means to them, how they got into it, and just how they choose to go forward after that, like what's important to them.
Yeah, so it seems, at least with the stuff I did, and especially that you did, a lot of the content that we helped contribute to was very community-oriented. And obviously, through creating that content, we gained a lot of help from the community in doing like interviews with them or collaborating. But do you think that with public media, especially Urban Media Arts influence in Malden, do you think that it has a positive impact on the community through doing content like that?
Oh yeah, 100%. We, as a group of interns, we made a project. We called it Humans of Malden, very similar to Humans of New York, if anyone has seen that. And it was like a photo gallery where we went around interviewing people that just lived in Malden, were in Malden at the time, walking around downtown, and we just asked them what Malden meant to them. And so for some people, like, meant a lot. They've been there for a while. They grew up there. Some people, they were just there for a day visiting, and they were just telling us about their favorite restaurants in the area. And so getting to see all those people and eventually make a photo gallery of it, it was really rewarding to eventually have people come in, see themselves in the gallery, take photos of themselves, and just want to see themselves again. And like, it meant a lot to those people. And that was just one project that we did. I can only imagine what other projects were like creating information about the Malden River and just how the native or the invasive species are affecting the area, or just how like the students felt that were working with the mayor, how they felt to just work in that area and test out some of their passions. So just all of those things together really provided like a feeling for me of like fulfillment, and also, like you said, community. Like, I could see what everything was like and how people got along as you worked at a public radio station, I guess, public access station.
And then kind of maybe speaking more generally about public access as a whole, do you think that it's a extremely important part of community media? As at least in my opinion, I think it's probably the biggest form of community media that most towns have and should have if they don't already.
Yeah, I mean, I found it to be really important. I don't really know what other forms of media there are, maybe just radio, but it like the ability to have video and have people come in and volunteer and work, it just helps build that sense of community. So I think it's really important.
And do you think that the structure of interning at a public access station like Urban Media Arts, do you think that gave you a lot more chances that maybe you wouldn't have, say, if you worked for maybe a more corporate or professional station, like maybe one's located in Boston?
Yeah. Oh, it was a huge opportunity, a huge like boon for me. Like it starts with the people there, like the people who we worked for, people who I interned for helped. Like, they were very generous to me, and they understood what I wanted, and they let me have creative freedom, which was huge and probably wouldn't happen at a more corporate area. But on top of that, I just felt supported. Like, I could do what I wanted. I had the freedom to do what I wanted, and I could just go, I don't know, just go off on my own projects and create what was important to me. And like, that freedom was really important to me.
And I definitely agree with you, because at least when I was a marketing intern for UMass Amherst, a lot of the content that I created for the university was, partially shelved or had to go through a bunch of different people. But through community media, through creating a lot of infographics or videos for Urban Media Arts, I saw that a lot of stuff I created, I'm sure you noticed this as well, like, from you creating it to it posting, it goes maybe through like one person, and it happens just so quickly.
Yeah, yeah. And I think like one of the lesser known, or one of the parts I appreciated the most, was just how, like, not only was everything shared, but also I could go and I could do anything there. Like, if I wanted to report, I could report. If I wanted to do production, I could do production. If I wanted to make my own podcast, I could do that. If I wanted to go do video work, recording like local concerts or events, I could do that. Like, I got to touch all these bases and see what connected with me.
And then kind of also generally speaking about public access, it has come under attack a bit from like some of the cable companies that franchise fees are providing funding for it. They want to lower the amount of funding that goes to public access stations. Obviously, both of us haven't been around a single station along to see a significant decline over the course of years, but do you think that Urban Media Arts, or maybe even just public access in general, is kind of often hurt by this squeeze to, I guess, lower the amount of money that's being given to these stations?
I mean, sure, with anything, you lose money, you lose the ability to, have freedom and to hire more people that are good at their job. Obviously, like you said, I haven't been there for long enough to be able to see how it affects it long term, but I've seen people who work there that are unhappy due to not getting paid what they want, or feeling other people are getting paid too much. So I think the less money that they have, the more likely it is to cause more of those issues. And then, like you said, it's just going to put a squeeze on them and what they can produce.
And then just kind of final question. So at least both of us started out as Urban Media Arts, being, I would say, like introductory interns, which is an unpaid role, which you can get credit for, but, salaries are still what drives people.
Yeah.
Do you think that at least volunteer or intern labor is basically like essential for a lot of these stations to survive and continue?
Yeah, it's so crucial. I mean, I say it like sort of as like a brag sometimes, but we really did pull a lot of weight while we were there. We did a lot of work for them, and like, we didn't get paid for it, and I have no regrets about that because I signed up for it. So I had to make sure I made the most out of my opportunity and took whatever opportunities were given to me that I wanted. But it's just, they needed us to help create a sense of community there and a sense of like diversity, having multiple people there that are different ethnicities and also of different ages. I think that was really important and it gave them new perspectives. And on top of that, with our Humans of Malden project, it helped bring people into the studio that normally wouldn't have come in, and like gives them a better, I guess, public perception in the area. So I think we were really important, critical to them.
Yeah, and that's going to wrap up my interview with Taylor Lee. Any final thoughts, Taylor?
No, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I have no regrets about my time in public access. It was crucial for me, and I worked with a lot of great people. I really loved it, including you.
I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Taylor Lee. In my opinion, public access is the most important form of local media, and it's essential that it remains part of communities. As long as Comcast, Verizon, or any other cable company has their wires running through your area, they should be mandated to provide funding for this medium. If you have any interest in communications but don't know where to start, contacting your local TV station is the best move. That's what I did 6 years ago, and so far it's worked wonders for me. Thus, it looks like we've reached the end of today's episode. I'll see you all next week on another edition of Up and Atom.